Hey guys, Eric and Roth here. We just both came out of the Walking Dead panel at New York Comic Con, and I'd say the word was insanity.
It was pure insanity. I am shaken. I'm an emotional wreck right now, just from the energy of everybody else's emotional rectitude. I really think that Norman Reedus might be dead. I honestly do. Because at the end of the panel, the man, and he's so sweet, but the man comes down practically into the audience to start signing autographs, and I'm like, where's security? He's gonna get mauled.
Yeah, because he's like Beatle popular here.
I know. It's gonna be like pieces of Norman Reedus scattered about New York.
I mean, yeah, that was one of the most insane audiences I'd ever seen at a convention. You know, I think I would consider myself a fan of The Walking Dead. I think it has some problems, but overall I like the show. But that audience was rapturous.
I know. Rapturous indeed. I like that word, by the way. Thanks. There was 1,000, and this is the other thing that's crazy. There was 1,000 more people just standing in the hallway in the hopes that they would give them a shout out.
Right.
And when they did, Robert Kirkman says, should have come earlier.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to mean, but it was funny.
There were some actual news tidbits here, though, which I was surprised by and happy about.
Really quickly before we get to the hard news, but I do, in fact, have Norman Reedus' squirrel. He came out and he was Daryl Dixon's squirrel, I suppose.
Yeah.
He came out and he was throwing them. Guess who caught it?
That is a little zombie blood thing going on there.
I think it's food. I think it's just he shot it and it's now food.
I say zombie blood.
More on the squirrel later.
There was a couple of casting announcements, though, because we recently knew that Rosalita was coming to the show, and that really begged the question of characters that were around her in the comics, a big part of that. And so they announced Eugene is coming to the show for sure. What is it? Josh McDermott?
Josh McDermott.
Yeah.
And
an actor who's been in a couple of things, but nothing that you would sort of jump out at, but a lot of comedic things, which makes sense for the character. And they promised he'd have his mullet. But then there was one other big casting.
He will be mulleted.
Mulleted
is what was said. And then there was another casting announcement, and this one actually, it's weird. This is a testament to the strength of the acting because I got scared.
Yeah.
A man came up to the very first question, and he basically started yelling and cursing at Scott Gimple.
Many F-bombs dropped.
Many F-bombs. Are you fucking kidding? I won't say them. I just did. But and then it turns out, of course, they bring him on stage, and lo and behold, who is it? I didn't recognize him.
It was Michael Cudlitz, mostly known from Southland, a great actor. He will be playing Abraham, another pretty fan-favorite character. Yeah. Because, again, once we knew Rosalita's coming, once we knew Eugene was coming, it's like, come on, Abraham is kind of the biggest, not just physically, character of that bunch. So that was the other big announcement. Otherwise, we did see 2 clips from the new season.
We did. And we've actually seen the first clip is from the premiere, which we've already seen. And you'll be seeing it in a couple of days, but I'll be writing a panel right up tonight, and I'll touch on that. And then the second clip, now I got to tell you guys, we've seen a bit of this in the teaser that they released, which is there in the car.
Yeah.
You hear that maybe something is on the radio. Those who arrive survive.
There's a voice they're trying to hear on the radio. There's obviously some significance, a signal or something out there.
And this is what we did not see in that teaser previously, is that you pan out. So they basically drive into a bunch of walkers.
Daryl, Michonne, Tyrese, and a new character, Bob, who we know is coming to the show this season.
I'm so shaken that I'm leaving out all the important details that, thank God, Eric is here to provide for us. Yes, these are the people that are in the car. And they basically, Daryl is driving the car. He drives into a bunch of walkers. You pan out, and I mean, this must have been 1,000.
It's the biggest army of walkers we've ever seen on the show, concentrated.
It is by far the biggest that we've ever seen. And I was sitting there going, they can't make it up. They can't all make it out of this. Mm-hmm. One of them, at least, is going to die. Is it Daryl? And I'm not kidding. After seeing tonight, they will riot.
Oh yeah, Daryl has to be unkillable. I think. Yeah, because he's a god to those people. So those are the 2 clips we saw, and then there was a couple little tidbits we heard about the new season and some of the characters that might jump out. Andrew Lincoln said that Carl's got some great stuff this season.
Yeah, he did. He says that Carl, it's sort of like he's between being a boy and a man, and he has a big arc. He said very specifically, though, watch out for episode 9. There you go. It's a spoiler, he said, but I don't care. This episode's going to blow your mind. And then he sort of backed out later because he said when he was reading one of the scripts, he read a script where he stopped talking for 10 minutes.
He said emotionally affected him and that he tried to call his castmates because he needed to talk to someone else about what he just read and could share it with someone who would also know what he was talking about.
And he ended up calling co-producer Greg Nicotero.
Yeah.
So, but he wouldn't say which episode number that is, but we do know like Game of Thrones, I guess, episode 9 is going to be a big one of The Walking Dead this season.
At least for Carl, and then it sounds like at least one other episode is going to be very big and devastating. And yeah, so overall,
Carol's going to have a big arc. That was teased a little bit.
And she'll be teaching kids how to use weapons.
Exactly. She's going to be not only learning to defend herself even more, but teaching the children to also defend themselves. Carol's really becoming quite a badass.
Yeah, which was mentioned by one of the audience members as well. Overall, this was as much as it was a fan just insanity, just love. I thought they did a good job of also giving us some good morsels for the season.
I thought so too. And I mean, again, like I can't stress how overwhelming it was to hear. I was in the front row to hear those screams. I had to actually bend over in moments. When there was 2 children, by the way, there was a little girl that went up on stage and ended up sitting in Norman Reedus' lap. There was a little boy that had made a T-shirt saying, "If Maggie dies, I riot."
What are these parents doing letting their little kids watch Walking Dead? We don't quite know.
I mean, they were like 7, I swear. And then there was, it was just the fervor is unlike anything I've ever seen. I'll stop. I know I'm now sounding fervorous.
But there was, it was very infectious, if you will. We know a lot of you watch Walking Dead, so you're going to be excited about the new season, but just don't let your little kids watch. That part's weird.
I would caution against letting your little children watch. And again, 2 big casting announcements. Abraham came in character. We already got a flavor of what he's going to bring to the show, and I got to tell you, it's pretty interesting.
It is. For plenty more from Walking Dead and New York Comic Con, stay here at IGN.